What's going on, guys? LordKing here again, back with another Dragon Ball Super review show, Dragon Ball Super 88. First, let's start with, oh my god, that was a ridiculous episode. Obviously, I'm sure most of you guys have seen. Basically, Gohan, we'll get into it a little bit later, but one of the best episodes I personally think in the build-up to the tournament. Let's go straight into it. They didn't waste any time with it as well. They pretty much did what everyone wanted and just went straight into it in the actual action as well. So it starts off Gohan versus Piccolo. Piccolo is evidently stronger than Gohan at this point, and he's pretty much just toying with him. They're basically just battling around and he's toying with him. Or what? I'm not really too sure if it was because Gohan is weaker or Piccolo is stronger. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here. We're not really too sure what the actual reasoning for Gohan being so toyed around with Piccolo is. Obviously Piccolo's been training a hell of a lot as well. Piccolo's basically showing he's a true teacher and quite a true master as well. Goku's basically actually spoken to Piccolo beforehand about the tournament and about Gohan, saying he's kind of lost his ways a bit and he needs to be trained up a little bit more. So Gohan basically goes Super Saiyan, and Piccolo again pretty much just almost destroys him a little bit. He basically punches him and he's just basically schooling him even in his Super Saiyan form. We kind of see a funny sort of scene with Beerus. As I've mentioned before, I think Beerus is basically the funniest character in Dragon Ball Super. He kind of imagines what would happen if he actually told Bulma and the rest of the gang about this tournament, and it's pretty much just Bulma ranting in his ear. So it was quite a funny scene. Then also we saw Trunks trying to change the diaper of Bulla or Bra, whatever you want to call her, and then Vegeta actually coming and doing it insanely quickly. So again, it basically kind of shows that Vegeta is showing his dad potential as such. Moving on, we then see quite a cool scene where we actually see Kaba again. So the first time we've seen him, obviously we saw him in the little clip we saw when Shampoo was talking to him on the phone or whatever you want to call it, the video phone thing. But we actually get to see him properly, and he goes to try and recruit this gentleman that he says is probably the strongest person he knows. Which he goes to try and speak to him. This guy has like a broken leg, so he can't actually participate in the tournament. But he then says he should take his sister, Coli or Cauliflower, which is obviously a homage to Broly. So broccoli and cauliflower is the pun here. So he says that his sister has this untapped potential. So we see a little picture of her, and what I thought was she looked a little bit rebellious. I think we see in the intro or trailer, whatever you want to call it, she looked a little bit shy, then transformed into this Broly-like figure. But then she looked like a little bit rebellious sort of thing in this. I'm not really too sure, but it was quite a cool scene. We get to see her. So then it goes basically straight back to Piccolo and Gohan, which was the focus of this episode. Piccolo uses his extendo sort of arms, and he chokes Gohan out, and then he basically kind of revives him with a cool little heart pump sort of thing, like a CPR type move. And he says Gohan basically lets his guard down too much. He's kind of becoming arrogant, and then we see a really cool flashback to when Gohan is basically toying around with Super Buu, and this is before he absorbs him and goes to Buhan, but we basically see him toying around with him, and then where he lets his guard down and then gets absorbed. So we see that again, showing that you can't let things like that happen. He says he needs to be more of a warrior, and pretty much as Geekdom mentioned in his video, he needs to try and be like his dad and Vegeta, have that warrior sort of Saiyan thing about him. Piccolo basically then kind of picks up on this. He just says you can go further than the Super Saiyan form that you're in now, which leads on to I'm a little bit skeptical of it, but it was probably one of the best scenes I've seen in a hell of a long time. Gohan's Mystic / Ultimate is back. So he basically taps into this potential that's been almost hidden away for so long, where he's been a scholar and all that sort of rubbish, and he's basically come back and shown that he still has it there. So it was almost he's forgotten it. It's not that he's lost it, he's just basically forgotten it, is what I think. So the only thing I find quite odd with this is, how did he kind of get it back so quickly? He obviously he's done his battles and things in Super Saiyan, he's fought quite a bit, but I would kind of think it would be one of those things he'd maybe have to go see one of the Kais for, or maybe he'd have to spend a bit of time doing, not meditation, I'm not too sure exactly how he would do it, but it was amazing to see, but I thought it was a little bit odd that he managed to get it back so quickly. They then go into the next sort of fight where Piccolo uses this after image technique sort of thing, not necessarily after image, where he multiplies himself, and then they all fight Gohan trying to attack him in his new mystic form, obviously not new, but where he has that typical one strand of hair down and no aura around him, just a plain white sort of thing. And Gohan cuts off the Piccolo's arm, and then Piccolo basically says, "Well done, you're kind of finding out how to keep your guard up, etc." He then basically attacks him with the same arm that was cut off, and then he says, you let your guard down again." So it's almost he's kind of teaching him a lesson, to be honest. He basically says you need to keep your guard up all the time. The one thing I enjoyed about this is a lot of people were saying that they wanted Goku to be the one to re-tap into the potential, but what I found quite cool about this is they almost paid tribute to Piccolo doing it. I thought it was quite nice to give Piccolo almost the honour of bringing Gohan back to his proper form, in the sense where he was the original sort of proper trainer, and going back to Dragon Ball Z when Gohan was a kid. It was quite cool to see, I thought. So Piccolo basically says that let's see if you can actually get stronger, and what I'm assuming is going to happen, obviously don't take my word for it, but what I think this is meaning is in the tournament at some point, Gohan's going to somehow tap into this God sort of key. Again, I have no idea how the hell he'll do it. I have no idea. We have no real idea how Vegeta actually did it. Obviously, he trained with Whis and that lot. But Piccolo's basically saying, we think you can get stronger. Do you want to see how strong you can get until the tournament starts, before the tournament starts? So I'm not sure what this is meant to mean. Maybe he's going to... I'm not sure what the next level is going to be for a Mystic Gohan. Maybe it'll just be a fusion of Mystic with Super Saiyan, or a similar thing to Trunks, the Super Saiyan Rage with a little bit of God Ki hanging off in a little bit. I'm not too sure, but it kind of sets up that he could do something a little bit further. Gohan also talks about doing some possible team moves, or like just different sort of moves between them two. So again, that could be quite a cool sort of thing. I don't think this has anything to do with fusion, in case anyone asked or anyone thought it when I said team moves. I don't think it has anything to do with fusion, but I couldn't imagine it happening. But obviously, the possibility is always there in Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Z, whatever it is, it's always there. We see quite a funny scene showing Yamcha, where we're wondering if he'll get the call or when they'll all come over. So that was quite a funny thing. And then next week we see Tien basically in his new dojo, his gym, basically teaching people now. And we then see this enemy come up, which is like spirit sort of thing. It's almost like the memory thing we saw in the previous episodes, and shows like a huge Master Roshi when he's in his big sort of transformed form, and some other sort of enemies. So that basically wraps up this episode, guys. This is a relatively quick sort of review thing that I've done here, and I thought it was the episode didn't have the most actual story to it, but it was one of the best sort of build-up episodes I think we've actually had. It got me so damn excited, where seeing Gohan back to his almost his best, and it sets up him getting better as well. So for all the people that absolutely love Gohan, including myself, obviously some people Gohan is the future of Dragon Ball, and people wanted Gohan to be the best thing in the world. This is basically for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Obviously there's no UFC reviews or anything like that this week. If you guys didn't see Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, bloody hell, go watch that. That was one of the best heavyweight fights I've personally seen. Well, this is boxing. One of the best heavyweight fights I've personally seen, and maybe a lot of people have hailed it as one of the best top 5, top 10 in history. So it was absolutely phenomenal with knockdowns, and Anthony Joshua doing what he did, showing he can kind of hang with the best, despite Klitschko's age and the skeptics of that, where he's obviously a lot older and maybe not in his prime. It does show that Joshua can still kind of hang in that sort of top bracket. Now, hopefully, Anthony Joshua will have maybe a Tyson Fury or a Deontay Wilder next. It's anyone's guess, but that's a different topic. Let me know what you guys thought of the Dragon Ball Super episode, and also please let me know what you thought of the boxing if you did see it as well. That basically wraps up this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like, share, and subscribe. It means a hell of a lot. Let's hit 250 subscribers next. So thank you as always, guys. I've been LordKing. Goodbye.